Hey guys, what's going on? This is Travis P11. I want to welcome you back to the channel. Today guys, we're going to do a little part 2 on my test of the Blackout Coffee Company Brewtal Awakening. Now if you watched part 1, you saw that I made up a regular pot of coffee with the Brewtal Awakening. I drank a cup of it, I talked a little bit about the flavor profile and how the caffeine content made me feel. If you're not familiar with Blackout Coffee Company, especially Brewtal Awakening, Blackout Coffee Company is a small family-owned business. They roast up their coffee in small batches, smells fantastic, taste is wonderful. They've got a bunch of different varieties, including decaf. And if you check out blackoutcoffee.com, you guys can check out their website and see what they have to offer. I will have a little affiliate link in the description box for this video, as well as in the comment section if you want to click on that affiliate link and you make a purchase, a small portion of it goes back to the channel. And if you put in coupon code TravisP11, you'll save 10% off your order. And orders of 50 bucks or more are going to get free shipping. So, back to the coffee. I'd said what I wanted to do is I wanted to make up some of the coffee in a Moka Express. Now, if you're not familiar with these, they're kind of like an espresso maker, sort of. You don't quite get the intensity or the pressure of a regular espresso maker, but you do get that smooth experience. It does use steam to push water through your grinds when you brew up your coffee. You can put just about any kind of grind of coffee in this, and the way this is ground right now is perfect. I don't recommend like a fine espresso grind in something like this, which is kind of funny because people call these like a poor man's espresso maker, but super fine grinds will cause it to not filter water as good as it could or not push water the way that it should. So you might want to do maybe like a medium or medium fine grind on your coffee if you grind it at home. You'll know what I'm talking about. So let's go and get started. We're going to go ahead and just show you how to make coffee in one of these quickly as we're making it. We'll brew up a pot of it and we'll pretty much go from there. I want to see if it's any smoother than it already is, because the flavor on this stuff is actually really good. It's a little bit rich, it's kind of bold, it's not too smoky, not overly bitter. It just tastes like a medium cup of coffee, even though this is a dark roast. So let's go and get started making up some coffee. Okay, so when it comes to these little Moka Expresses, they come in all different brands and sizes. I believe this is a Pizzetti or Pizzetti is the brand. There's also Bialetti that makes them. Bodum and other companies make these. So basically you've got your little hopper that your water's going to go in, and we'll show you how much you need to fill up. You got to be kind of careful about it. It does have a little bit of an emergency steam blow-off valve right here. You've got your cup that you're going to put your coffee in, your grinds of coffee, and essentially the steam's going to come up through this and the water, and it's going to force its way into the percolator, I guess you could call it, the carafe. And that pushes up, and the coffee's going to start brewing through this little shaft right here, and it's going to fill up, and once it's filled up, you're basically ready to go. Just check the ratings, check the reviews on these. I've had this one for years, never had any problems with it. They do get very, very hot. You do put these directly on the burner, so please be careful with them. Don't believe that this particular model works on an induction style burner, but I'm just going to be using this on just an old glass countertop that we have for our oven. And okay, we'll show you how to make that coffee. Okay, so my apologies for the shaky hand shot footage. I like to use purified water just because if there's any elements or chemicals or minerals in tap water, it could affect the impact of the flavor you're going to get out of the coffee. I mean, I've used tap before, no problems, but go ahead and just pour water in your little hopper or your little tank down here up until the point you get to the bottom of your steam valve or blow-off valve, which is right in there. You want to make sure you don't cover it. That's basically kind of emergency backup in case it gets overpressured. It'll blow out the side, although I've never actually had that happen before, or I haven't noticed it. Then you want to transfer the water over to a measuring cup, glass and or microwavable plastic. So this little one is going to make about 6 ounces, which is pretty much perfect for the amount of coffee we're going to use. Go ahead and microwave this for 1 minute, and we will be right back. Okay, so is it absolutely crucial that you start off with microwave hot water? No, I just always have. I think it kind of speeds up the process a little bit and kind of gets things going a little bit faster. So we're going to pour that water back in there. There we go. Okay, go ahead and take your little cup, and again, since I got 6 ounces of water, we're just going to follow the standard procedure, which is basically a tablespoon. It does not have to be heaping. This is going to extract a lot of flavor out of your coffee. Remember, it's your steep time and your temperature that pulls the caffeine out of the roast, as well as the grade of roast that you're using. So even a light roast with a hot temperature can have just as much caffeine as, say, a lower temperature medium roast or even darker roast, because the longer you roast your coffee, the less caffeine you have in there. So just kind of push it around a little bit. You don't want to tamp it down. You don't want to push it down. You want to leave it so that the water can go right through it, okay? Now, go ahead and screw on your carafe. So how are you going to know when this is done? Well, let me just tell you the instructions before we put it on the oven to do it. And by the way, this is already getting fairly hot, just being microwaved. Go ahead and screw it on so it's nice and tight. Basically, you'll start to see some steam coming out of the spout right here. What I like to do is just kind of look and peek, and if I start to see coffee burbling out of here into this carafe, what I do is I go ahead and remove it from the heat once it starts to burble out, because it's going to continue percolating because of the energy that's already built up in it. So you could do like maybe a setting out of like 5 or 6 out of 10 on your range top, kind of a medium to medium high heat until it starts to steam. And again, once you start to see that steam coming out, you could just pull it at that point, or you can also just carefully look and just make sure. Again, you know, there's going to be steam coming out. You always want to be careful when you do that. So let's go and transfer this over to the oven and we'll get it fired up. Just a little side note here, I like to keep the plastic handle kind of towards the edge, and being this is a glass top, you get a uniform heat all the way around. I've seen people cooking these with gas tops and coils and so on. Everything that's metal is going to get really, really hot, so just keep that in mind. Things that are plastic could get fairly warm, but they should be cool to the touch. And so we'll go ahead and let this get going. Once it starts to steam out, I will open up the lid on this and you can see the coffee perking out and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But again, be very careful with it. And again, if you're not comfortable lifting up the lid to check, just leave it. When it starts steaming, you can pull it. So these little Moka Expresses can run anywhere from 10 to 20 bucks and all the way up to, you know, 40 or 50 if you go with the large ones that do like 12 cups of coffee. Okay, I'm starting to hear the steam now coming up. Again, when you start to see some of the steam coming out of the spout, you know you're basically done. We can go ahead and cheat and just peek a little bit here. Okay, nothing's perking out yet. Again, it's kind of nice because if you just want to make up 1 cup, especially with the Brewtal Awakening coffee, which has a lot of caffeine in it. Oh, there's your steam. Again, it's kind of nice you can make 1. Okay, it's already done. See, it already spouted out. Okay, we'll go ahead and just pull that off the heat and set it off to the side. Don't leave it on there because it's going to continue brewing and steeping and you don't want to burn the grounds that you've made. Okay, let's go ahead and transfer that over to our mug and we'll go on from there. By the way, guys, that was not any kind of time-lapse video or trick of photography. Within about 10 or 15 minutes, you starting to hear that burbling going on. That little mocha pot's already going to be done, especially for a single cup. So once you open it up, go ahead and just stir around a little bit. Make sure the contents kind of get mixed together. In case there's any grounds or anything, we can kind of get those out of the way. Here we go. Oh, it looks like the perfect mix. It's not too light, it's not too dark. Go and hold the top of it as you pour it. It's going to make a really smooth, just nice, crisp cup of coffee. Now again, this is basically an espresso size, so I'm only going to get about maybe 4 ounces out of it when it's all done, so I could make a double batch if I want to. So I just got a little stout cup of coffee ready to go. Again, 4 ounces, you know, you can go with the bigger one if you want to. This is just a 6-ounce hopper, but mainly because I used to just use darker roast coffees or almost espresso blends with it. So let's let this cool down for a second. We'll take a sip and see if we notice any differences in the flavor profile versus the drip maker that we did in part 1, and we will be right back. Okay guys, so just a couple things to keep in mind. That little mocha pot's going to be hot for probably around 15 or 20 minutes, so don't touch any part of it after you set it back down on the burner. If you put it on any countertop at all, it's going to be really hot, especially if you're using like a gas burner, so you don't want to scorch your countertop, especially if you have some kind of a stone or whatever. That might not be very heat resistant. So anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and just give it a whirl. By the way, in the interest of full disclosure, this sample was sent to me from Blackout Coffee Company. They said they wanted my honest opinion on it. And although I'm a huge fan of all different kinds of coffee, as I explained in the first part of the video, you know, if there's something I don't like, I'm not going to drink it. But what really surprised me about this stuff the most was just the lack of bitterness, considering the fact that it has basically 4 times the caffeine content of a standard cup of, say, Folgers or Maxwell House. So you're getting a lot more caffeine without that extra bitter taste that you're sometimes associating with higher caffeinated products. All right, let's see how it is. Okay, definitely a lot stronger taste. Much more chocolatey, much more kind of cocoa flavor on the back end. Kind of slurping to get more of the flavor bouquet out of the taste with every sip. Yeah, real mild, real simple, not burned at all. Just a good overall round cup of coffee. So for being a dark roast, it's going to surprise you. For somebody that's not a smoky dark roast fan, this is not. Okay, this is a dark roast, but it does not have that that overly pungent flavor you're not used to. Almost kind of tastes like an espresso, but just not nearly as strong in terms of just the kind of the tanginess to it and just the overall bitterness. That's good. That's really good. All right, so just go ahead and give it a whirl, guys. See what you think. You know, you want to adjust the ratio of coffee to water that's going to work best for you, whether you use a regular brewer or a mocha pot, or if you use a little refillable Keurig K-Cup, you know, filter that you put your own coffee in, whatever works best for you. So again, I'm going to continue drinking this. I do like it. I'm looking forward to trying a few more of the other varieties from Blackout Coffee Company. Make sure you guys check them out at blackoutcoffeecompany.com, and you can also click on the affiliate link. That'll take you right there if you decide you want to make a purchase. There's a lot of little boutique kind of coffee companies that are out there, but I do like this company. I like what they're doing. They do work really hard to source their coffee to make sure that it's fair trade, as well as to go to a bunch of different regions to blend up the perfect kind of flavor. So that's really cool, whether they're going to Asia or they're going to South America, Central America, and so on. You're definitely going to get some quality in every cup. So that's it, guys. Brewtal Awakening. Again, 2 thumbs up out of the Moka pot. And hopefully maybe learn something new from this video. If not, hey, introduce a new kind of coffee to you that you should definitely try. So that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can also follow us on gunchannels.com as well as guntube.org. Otherwise, that's it, guys. So I want you to have fun. I want you to be safe. Always drink lots of coffee. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. All right, bye-bye.